Oh, hey, I'm Joe Mack. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about the Vampyre and Carmilla, two stories that inspired Dracula by Bram Stoker. I'm a big fan of vampires, and every year during what is known as spooky season here at the end of September through October and Halloween, and sometimes a little bit beyond, this beautiful fall weather, I like to read some vampire stories. But I like the classic vampire. I like those tropes that were developed a long time ago. I like that they have to ask before they enter a building. I like that they can't cross moving water, that the sun causes them pain, garlic, the cross, the church. Everything going on with the classic vampire is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something to scare me. I'm looking for that visceral vampire experience. And Dracula being one of the pillar of modern vampire stories, giving way to great new series like Empire of the Vampire, Empire of the Damned, and soon Empire of the Dawn, which I believe comes out in November. Looking forward to that. So these books, this is the second time I'm reading these, Carmilla and The Vampyre. The Vampyre is written by John William Polidori, and it is originally credited to Lord Byron. And there's this whole little section in the beginning explaining how it was actually William Polidori who did it and not Lord Byron. This story is the first published vampire work. John William Polidori's The Vampyre introduces some great tropes to the vampire mythos. It shows our vampire Lord Ruthven and his ability to control whether or not a character who has made an oath to him able to speak out against that oath, something that we see later on in future vampire stories. It shows his ability to woo and enrapture others with the way that he looks and garner great interest among both the men and females around him. It is a very short story. We're talking, I'm pretty sure, less than 100 pages, and it is written in, I think, Old English, but in a way that, for me, was a little difficult to understand and follow. I'll be honest. So I'm not going to give it a traditional, 1 out of 10 rating. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to say that if you like vampires and you're interested in the history of the vampire tropes and mythos, I would say you should read it. Now, Carmilla by Sheridan Le Fanu is written more in line with how a story or a book that you would read nowadays is. It was much easier for me to get through, and I was able to understand all the words that they use, so that was quite nice. This book is just under 200 pages, and the tropes that you get from the vampire mythos in Carmilla are the secrecy and the way that they don't ever actually reveal anything about themselves, are the extreme beauty, the ability to transform their body into an animal, their ability to travel and make their way in a way that is confusing to a normal person, or through locked doors, and able to travel around without being heard or being seen. Obviously, the sucking blood, the appearing in dreams, the making it feel like what you're experiencing in real life is a dream, not knowing if what you went through is real. This book is very big on the vampire manipulation aspect. We follow a young girl who lives in her father's castle, and she doesn't have any friends, and she's expecting a guest for the first time in a long time. But unfortunately, before that guest arrives, they receive a letter that she has passed away. And lo and behold, a carriage crashes on their property, and the mother relinquishes the care of her daughter to them and their family while she runs on this errand that is so important she has to leave her daughter behind. We see the relationship between Carmilla and Laura, our main character, develop, and the way that Laura speaks to, about, and of Laura throughout this story is just pure manipulation, is dodging questions about themselves. And as we learn more lore about the land and the world and what happened to this other girl, those reveals are slowly brought to the surface until at the end of the book, you know, it's there in your face. The book's named Carmilla, so I don't think that could really be a spoiler. So if it is, I'm sorry. But this also, even more so than The Vampire, I think that if you enjoy vampires, you want to see where Bram Stoker got some of his inspiration for Dracula. I think that you should definitely read it. So, what books are you guys reading during spooky season this year? Are you more vampires, werewolves, or zombies? What tickles your spooky fancy? Let me know. Get in those comments. Love you. Bye.